Okay, we're going again. That's Pat. Well, Pat McGinn, you're welcome. How are you?
Good to be here. No, I'm grand. I'm grand, thanks. Good to be here.
Stupendous bit of television this last 5 or 6
Yeah.
minutes. You know.
Listen, as we were just talking off camera there, and we were saying, for me, that's the real world. Now, when I'm human, I could get into distractions. I can fight over flags or parades, and that's all okay. But even that there would take me back to humanity.
Yeah.
You know, going back what you said, by giving.
Yeah.
Unconditionally too.
Oh yeah.
Because I can even remember the morning you talked about the minibus, because I remember phoning a few people around and saying, and they would say, "Get away from about me," and it never was about medals or about pot.
No.
But that there, unconditionally, I never knew what that word meant. If I did a turn for you, I'd be coming back looking another turn. That's the way the whole thing walked. So it's not soppy. It's not, it's good.
It's work of
good
courage.
watching it. Yeah.
And when I saw the young fellow in India there with his legs, getting his legs tried on, you went, wow, he was so happy. How Cúnmhuire is very close to your heart. You were with as a Concilio, Sister Concilio recently. How is she?
She was grand. She wasn't well, Rowan, and I'm hoping that and she sends her greetings to you. She has a great time for you, and indeed she has a great love for Newry.
Yes.
She always talks about us up in the north, and I actually sat last night with Concilio, and she had some residents in with her, and they asked her to tell them her story.
Yes.
So it was all very simple. So if that was me, I would want to, do a presentation. And she just talked, and in particular, she talked about home motivation, and the people that were there last night in Cúnmhuire, her services are open to everybody.
Yeah.
She was a wee Catholic, a Roman Catholic nun, as we would say, but our services are open to everybody, and there were people from all traditions, and indeed none. And she talked a lot about her best friend. She says we all need a best friend, somebody who you can trust, somebody who's loyal, but somebody who'll tell you straight if you're at your tricks.
That's the real.
I'm paraphrasing her, and you'll get her talking about it herself. And she talks about this woman, Newry, the mother of Jesus. And
wow!
And it was class. And listen, I'm not like yourself. I'm human.
Yeah.
I know what it's like. Thanks be to God, I've learned that I'm a sinner, because and I could still sin plenty. I don't want anybody.
I've got a PhD in sinning. I tell you. But it's
God was something else, but it's not the Concilios, ordinary people. There was an ordinary father that we watched. We watched out in India all year. Gateway of Sunshine, people out there. It's nothing about being great and the good. There were ordinary people just doing extraordinary things. And
ordinary people as well, Pat, up at the new Cúnmhuire on the Dublin Road.
Yeah.
It's succeeding. Your Christmas just passed. Yeah. You had a full complement of people in undergoing the courses.
Yeah. Well, we would have. Listen, I'm telling you now. There's as I would check every morning. There's something like 22 people waiting to get in there.
Wow.
We have only so many figures, and addictions. A dirty business, Rowan, and yet, but looking after human beings isn't, and we try to keep it as private and offside, and the neighbours and all have been very good up there. We have about 100 fellas and girls in there, but I was just thinking coming in the car, Rowan, like we opened in November, but Rowan, I have attended 5 funerals of 5 great human beings that were in there. Now, quite a few of them, the vast majority of them, weren't the typical alco as our perceptions. And I was never on the Shankill Road in my life, Rowan. And by God, I had to attend the funeral of a fellow who I got to know very well, and indeed care about and love a lot. Some time back, I have to watch because I don't want to be breaking his anonymity. And I always remember going down with all that fear of and this man who had come in and trusted me, that's where he took me. It was like he had his own journey, and in the end it wasn't going to happen for him. He may be at peace now. He is at peace, and his family, please God, are coping a day at a time. But he took me to the Shankill Road, and again it's back down to the whole Cúnmhuire. It's about giving that you will receive.
And it's the Cuan is a harbour.
The harbour.
It's a harbour piece. The harbour of Mary up there.
Look, harbour, it's the dry dock. I talk to the boys about a boat. You're a vessel and you come in, you're given time out, patched up, but we will put you back to sea again.
Yeah.
This is not about, and I would be passionate about it, and yet you keep an open mind. You know, we would sit here, there isn't anything wrong with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with it if it's enjoyed, and so we have to be careful. We have a role to play in once people cross the line. Talking to our man, worked all his life, lost his soulmate, lost his wife 10 years ago. Whatever happened, it crossed him the line, that he went from being okay where he could manage drink as such, he crossed here and he couldn't stop it. So he'll never go back over there.
There has to be a desire, first of all, Pat, I'm sure, in the heart and mind of those who come to Cuanwara, that they want to be sorted out. They want to end the awfulness.
Well, you see, and they have that desire when they come in, but it can leave you very quickly. Because I'll tell you one thing, it's no holiday camp up there. Somebody said to me, God, Pat, it's like a 4-star hotel. It's one 4-star hotel I hope not to be a resident in a day at a time.
Yeah.
But the people can get off it, it's actually staying off it. It's like any addiction. Like, listen to me, it's not just alcohol. And basically, it's like coping. And we've got, it's a great programme, A Way of Living, it's a day at a time. Coping with worry, coping with illness. You know, there's no point, I'm going for some work on my leg on the 23rd. There's no point in my head on the 23rd of July.
No.
So, and we learnt that again from Coomberra, and like, addictions costing just here in the north 900 million. Now that's only the cash of it a year. Misuse, we can call it, not addiction. You have the misuse and abuse of, in particular, alcohol. I'm not talking about the hardcore substances. And I do believe that we're sleepwalking into a disaster. And where we need to do, there are a lot of agencies, a lot of people working on it, but sometimes I feel we're not working together on it. And rather than going, we would have a schools programme, but rather than going to schools and by saying, don't you, I know anybody told me, don't you be doing this. That was the first thing I did. We tell them, talk a bit about the realities of it. Healthy respect. Anything that I would encourage myself and anybody, anything we put into our bodies, you know, particularly mind changing or any type of substance, or like, we should have a healthy respect for it and actually know, number one, what it is. And but I it just hurts me at times. I know on Friday night I go for a walk down along the arches, we call it, and I sit with some of the young ones who are sitting out there drinking, and they're 15 and 16 and they're all great kids, good kids, nothing wrong with them. And I just think it's a bit young, and it's not the culture that we should be, their introduction to the likes of that should not be sitting. I like the European idea. I love sitting I was in Spain there a couple of weeks ago, sitting watching people at night, and they would sit and have glasses of wine and things like that. And maybe it's airy-fairy. I don't believe it is, because the wee woman herself, Concilio, she would say to me, there wasn't one shilling of government money went into that place up the road. I honestly, if people want to talk about miracles, and you're listening to a fella who doesn't get carried away, because I know she hadn't a shilling when she started up there, but she would say to me, you know, Pat McGinn, if I had waited on government agencies, and politicians and civil servants, she says there'd be nothing done. 47 years, there'd be a lot of people dead. And she's right. She's like a whole lot more like yourself, like that. You get on with it.
Oh yeah.
I disagree, but I think government should be putting. I don't.
They should.
You know, but you know, too busy.
Too busy doing other things. So Pat, you tell me she'll come and see me next week. Yeah,
and she'll be delighted to come down. I can tell you, she had a hard old time, and she lost her brother Johnny. My image of particularly up the new place every morning at 7 o'clock. Her and her brother Johnny was 86. They laid the walkers. I was no good to them when you couldn't work with your hands. They were the carry people. I was chased back down to keep my eye on the odd place, and Johnny took sick there about 3 months ago, and he died, and she was his rock. And she said at the funeral that when she was leaving to become a nun, he took her, and he showed her where he put a biscuit box in the barn in Kerry, and he says, if there's a few pound in there, and if you ever need it, there'll always be a few pound in that box. And she says she rated it many's a time in all those years. So she was his rock, and we had to give her a bit of time out.
That's extraordinary.
So she was up with this, and but the Coomera, again, we're seeing it on video. For a boy like me, it's all around me. I used to think you had to give people awards for that.
No.
We were seeing it in our streets here.
Yeah.
Only that if I'm into negativity and into wanting to rear up about something, I am missing the people who are quietly every day, every night. You talk about the gateway and that. I was talking to Paddy Duffy about the celebrations and that.
Yes.
Quietly getting on with it, and helping to address and motivate and even encourage people to.
We're drawing a picture of the Elysium fields. We're drawing a picture of heaven. That's the way things ought to be, Pat.
And they are probably, again, I'm probably that used when you're doing meetings, you talk about yourself. The only person who complicates it, it's Pat. All these other things are distractions, you know. And I was actually even thinking about the weekend here, and we were talking about it was the paper and parades and all. You know, it's a lovely weekend. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend and gets their best out of it. You know, maybe we get older, you tend to get a bit wiser, and I would hope, again, we would have lads as residents of ours, and I would know that they would miss. They're from a tradition that would miss out on the 12th, no different than me on a St. Patrick's Day. But I always said, boys, stay in with us. We'll have our own we'll have our own thing. Parade. But it's you know, listen, we all sometimes need a reality check and just about what we're about. You know,
Pat, you're a huge man. You're an impressive fellow, and you're always kind to me, and you bring your wisdom to our sofa here, as you did in my last incarnation. You were always a welcome guest. You're going to tell sister I was asking for her, and that I look forward to seeing her.
She will, because she actually, and again through yourself, says she has a great affinity with you. But even I was telling her about here, she's actually on an iPad now. I've been laughing about you know, for a fellow who's worked in the profession.
Yeah.
Oh, she's on her iPad.
Just getting this then.
At 76, and but she has a great fondness for Newry and for the north and our whole story.
Yeah.
But when she come in here in 1984, the height of our conflict, when we were all, well, not all of us, but quite a few of us running about bonkers, in the nicest term. Be careful here. These huge shoes we play. But she would have, you know, when people told her don't be coming up here at all, the people who helped her from all the distance. So listen, she'll talk to herself. I'm not here. So listen, lovely to be here. And
listen, it's good for you. It's lovely. Thank you for coming in. You're a good man. Thank you so much indeed. Coming shortly, a wonderful lady, part and parcel of the robotic apothecary of Newry. An apothecary is the person who dispenses the drugs. I'm not sure whether the premises in medieval times was also the apothecary, but it was the apothecary's shop. You see, we'll explore this with Maria Taff when we're talking shortly. After this, Sean, we'll have some music.